been stoic in the opening half, and he's through here. Bloor for the line. A try to Sean Bloor. It's going to be 12 all at the break. He's been terrific since coming off the bench.
Welcome in to another episode of the WestsLife Podcast. I'm your host, Josh Barnett. We are brought to you by a Holman Barnes Group, which includes West Ashfield Leagues Club, the best place to watch the game live and loud on Friday night as we take on the Knights, which we're going to preview this afternoon, coming to you at a lunchtime on a Wednesday, last non-proper time. We'll go back to Wednesday, 8:30, when you guys normally enjoy us. So to the dozen or so of you joining us during the day on a work day, thank you. You are absolute legends. So give us a follow on YouTube, turn notifications on, tell your friends, share, comment, help with the algorithm and all of that at WestsLife Pod on Instagram and Twitter, and at patreon.com/WestsLife if you'd like to support and take part of the show. The forum, the Discord type of forum, I guess. That's been popping off all week. Lots of discussion. There's always drama and discussion going on when it comes to the West Tigers, even if it's not even talking about the game itself. So, welcome into the boys on a sunny Wednesday. How are you leading into Origin 3 tonight?
Yeah, g'day Josh, g'day Rob, g'day everyone watching or listening. I'm honestly not having much to do with Origin tonight. I'm highly unlikely to even watch the game. I'm kind of just going about my day as I normally would. I've had a somewhat productive morning, and now I'm here ready to do the show, and then going to spend the rest of the afternoon relaxing and taking it easy. I think that's a pretty good plan.
I'm going to the game tonight. I got free tickets. I'm heading along with my brother. If I wasn't within walking distance of the stadium, I probably would second guess it. Also, I wouldn't say I'm super excited about it. I'm from New South Wales. I don't get Origin, unfortunately, apparently. But Mr. Bashara coming in from the Red Room this afternoon. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, Josh. How are you guys? G'day, listeners. Stay away from those forums, for fuck's sake. All this social media crap. What a bunch of dribblers hypothesizing about what ifs.
Make me laugh.
Don't know shit and having chats about rumours that everyone talks about. Just, yeah, if you want to do your head in, join those social pages. It'll absolutely send you to the loony bin. I made the mistake yesterday of doing it. Never again. Bunch of idiots.
Coming in hot, Mr. Bashara, on a Wednesday. But yeah, the thing about forums too, it just takes so long to fucking read everything. Just go on Twitter.
I just don't get why people can't have their opinion. Why they have to fucking just bag you out over saying something. Then, like some of the comments you got, talking about professionalism and shit like that. Like blokes hiding behind fucking ridiculous names, and what would they know about professionalism? They're fucking making comments at 2 p.m. Unless they're retired, they're either fucking doing nothing, they're unemployed, or they're fucking having a bludge. So, yeah, just look, I know people. Look, I think the good thing about forums is people need to vent and get their shit off, but just going at each other, for the sake of it, just, when your team's coming last, you're just asking for trouble. So I'm going to make a vow I will never, ever go on a Facebook page or a forum ever again. You can...
Except the WestsLife Facebook page. Follow us on Facebook, please. As Taylor Swift said, Roberto, haters are going to hate. So...
just fucking absolute fucking idiots. Seriously, just make.
Don't forget to shake it off.
You think you feel sorry for the supporter base, and then when you hear how some of these dickheads carry on, you think, you know what, they deserve a team coming last, like they really do. So they're just fucking idiots. But anyway, I'm happy to make more enemies. I'm in a shitty mood.
Well, one place that's better than going on a forum is actually going to West Ashfield Leagues Club for a feed and to watch the footy. Now, they have a promotion on at the moment where you can literally walk in, scan your card, and win some of $222,000 in cash in their winter cold cash promotion. They draw every Thursday from 6:30 p.m. So swipe daily to accumulate tickets. So swipe your membership card. This major jackpot this week is $40K. So just literally head on into West Ashfield Thursday night, and they're going to give someone could give someone $40,000. So for more information, holmanbarnesgroup.com.au, Holman Barnes Group, bringing people together. Righto, on to, so someone mentioned it in the comments. Have you heard about the Holbrook rumor? So the Mole is suggesting that the West Tigers might go after Justin Holbrook as a coach or an assistant coach or something like that, because obviously Tim Sheens isn't quite doing the job. Rob, what have you heard about this one?
Yeah, it was mentioned to me last week, actually, which I kind of scoffed at. It was suggested as an assistant coach to help with the X's and O's. Obviously the Sheens thing isn't working out, but again, this is just total speculation. I find it hard to believe that we go after a coach who's failed miserably at the Gold Coast. I actually think he's had a really good squad at the Gold Coast, and they have improved slightly this year, but there was just a softness about the Gold Coast. Like, they play pretty football, a little bit like Cronulla, but worse. And I just don't know if he's the right guy. But I mean, I'm not a fan of Sheen, so anyone's an improvement. Yeah, but a few people have touted it. I can't see it happening because Lee himself has said nothing more certain than death, taxes, and Tim Sheen's being coach next year. So if he turns around and gets Holbrook, well, that kind of, makes him look a bit silly there, doesn't it? I don't know what you guys have heard.
Lawyers don't lie, Rob. How would you like Holbrook as in the assistant role or something in the coaching staff?
As an assistant, I wouldn't say no to that. What he did with the Titans and when they were in a pretty bad place with Neil Henry before he got the boot. So honestly, if he comes on as an assistant, I wouldn't say no to that. It'd probably be good for the club to have, I guess, a recognised coach, because he did a lot of coaching over in the Super League with St. Helens, and while they won, I think, like 2 in a row or something under him. And yeah, I definitely wouldn't say no to that. I think, honestly, given the situation the club's in, we could probably do with an extra hand in the coaching staff. So
the big thing they're discussing, Rob, is Tino and Fafita would potentially want to come with him. Do you think that's BS?
I don't think it's BS, because in both their contracts they have get out clauses pending him leaving, the coach leaving. So, but again, like as great as those forwards are, and you take them in a heartbeat, don't get me wrong, but geez, we need backs, guys. We do have, I mean, don't get me wrong, like I said, they're high quality forwards. I'd take them tomorrow and maybe move someone else on, but like forwards, like we need some strike. We've got no halves, we've got no 3/4. We've got a great up-and-coming young fullback. So, look, I wouldn't say no to anything, but this is a problem now, guys. The fact that we're coming last, everyone's going to be throwing around all these, rumours and, we're linked with this person, we're linked with that person. And yeah, I think we're so desperate that we will be linked with everyone or every name that comes on the market. But I just find it hard that you'd want to jump in bed with someone who's been reasonably unsuccessful and, borderline wooden spoon. To be fair, like, I mean, when we lost that controversial game to the to the Cowboys last year, I think that got Gold Coast out of last place. So that's where they were sitting at the time. So I don't know. Are we just getting another bottom feeder? I don't know enough about him personally, what he's like in terms of X's and O's and stuff like that. But I just see a lot of Titans games where they get a lot of points put on them, and they can give up big leads. I mean, they had a massive lead against the Dolphins, 6 or 7 weeks ago, and threw that away. So I don't know, guys. I don't know if he's the right guy, but I don't think Tim Sheens is the right guy either. So we definitely need to be doing something.
Lee Hajman he responded to the Alan Jones incident. So he went on SEN this morning. He said, "I need to be careful how I do respond. I don't want to appear overly sensitive or make this all about me, which apparently causes great offense to some sections of the media. Let me tell you, Tim Sheens was far more offended than what I was. When Alan completed his diatribe, I just lost interest in remaining at the function, so I tried to discreetly leave. I had work to do at the office, so I told the boys I'd see them later. We had a West Magpies Heritage Night that night, which I was looking forward to. I just left discreetly. By the time I got to my car, my phone was blowing up about people asking me about leaving. I just said I had better things to do. Alan is perfectly entitled to his views. I'm not interested in him. Whether or not that was an appropriate forum, I would leave others to decide. Did he throw Sheensy under the bus a little bit there, saying that Sheens got upset about it, more upset about it than him? What do you make of that rant from Lee there, Rob?
I don't think he threw Sheens under the bus. I think he's giving Sheens a compliment there, saying that, you know, Sheens took offence to it as well, because obviously Sheens has got his fingerprints all over this situation as much as anyone. Look, like I said on Monday's show, guys, I mean, if someone, you know, set me up for that sort of ridicule, I'd probably walk out too. In fairness to Jones, he was asked a question. He gave the answer. We all know the problem with this club. You know, no one takes accountability for failure. I mean, they don't know what accountability actually means and how you're meant to react to accountability and how that plays out. They just say, yep, we take accountability, and they just keep their jobs and keep moving on to the next thing. So it's clear to me that, you know, the problems are up top. I know we've got problems with the coaches. I know we've got problems with the teams, but, you know, who's picking all those people that make those decisions? You know, we've gone and got a football director now. I mean, if that goes belly shape, you know, what do we do there? Do we blame Fulton, or do we blame the guys that hired him? So I just think everything stems from the top guys. You know, the problem is Alan Jones would have said it in a really dramatic way. I would say, you know, the question should never have been asked, because I think even though he would have said the answer quite dramatically, the fish rots from the head and all that sort of stuff, that's the actual answer. So if it was Yvonne Sampson that asked the question, or whoever it was, don't ask volatile questions, guys. What did they expect the answer to be? Gee, the Tigers are unlucky that they haven't made the finals for 12 years. They've been managed perfectly. Like, what other answer can you give? So I just think it was the wrong question at the wrong time. And like I say, I don't have a problem with him walking out. I just think it's funny that he doesn't want to butt heads with Alan Jones, but he can rant and rave at everyone else and say venom from their spleen, but he didn't want to mention that towards Alan Jones. So, you know, probably how he should have reacted to a lot of things that have happened to him the last couple of years.
Right, moving on, we'll get to preview the game shortly. Firstly, just mention our friends at Mobile Corp, so they can support your local business by managing your IT, your network, and your mobile devices. If you're a local business owner looking for a partner who will take away the hassle of dealing with IT issues, make sure you have cybersecurity in place, handle all your mobile device needs, then Mobile Corp can help. Mobile Corp is a family-run business and long-time supporter of the West Tigers, although Stephen from Mobile Corp in the DMs, he's kind of like us. He's really at his wits' ends with his team, but nonetheless, a long-time West Tigers supporter. So check out Stephen and the team at Mobile Corp, mobilecorp.com.au. That's mobilecorp.com.au. Righto, team list for this week. So we're playing Friday evening against the Newcastle Knights up at McDonald Jones Stadium. Az, do you want to go through the team list for me? So you're the go-to reader of player names now. The stats man and the names man. Let's go.
Okay, Jareem Buller is the fullback, Asu Kepaoa and Junior Tupou on the wings, Stafford Toa and Tommy Talau in the centres, Will Smith and Brandon Wakeham at the halves, Stefano Utoikamanu and David Clemmer are the front rowers, Api Koroisau is back in at hooker, Isaiah Papali'i and John Bateman are the second rowers, and Fanua Pole is the lock. Jake Simpkin, Sean Bloor, Alex Twoll, and Alex Seyfarth on the bench. Dane Laurie, Atasi James, Talon De Silva, Justin Matamua, and Brent Naden are the reserves.
So a few things to dissect in this one. Rob, last week you said the team list was basically the best we could put together with what we had. Brent Naden not being named in either set. I know Tommy Talau had one of his best games last week. Stafford Toa having a great season, but do you think there could have been a way to sneak Naden into the team somewhere, maybe over Kepaoa somehow?
Yeah, definitely. I would have put him in place of Kepaoa. Not that Naden's been playing great, but I would have put. I just don't. I'm not a fan of Kepaoa. We saw the try that he botched last week. yeah, other than that, I mean, look, as I said on Monday's show, Will Smith was really good in attack. He was just as poor in defence. So I'm very concerned about Will Smith defensively there. So, Tyson Frizzell might have a bit of a field day there running straight at him. But, other than Kapoa, like the rest of our forward pack's pretty solid. I would be surprised if Appy starts, given that he hasn't played for over a month. I feel like he'd come off the bench and then, if and when he gets tired, he'll put his hand up and Jake finishes the game. And if he's not tired, then he'll see the game out from about the 30th minute. So other than that, guys, I mean, I'm just more worried about what the Knights can do. I think Kalen Ponga is starting to strike that form that, we thought he was going to be the next Benji Marshall once upon a time. He's really starting to show that form. So we're going to have to stop, Kalen Ponga. Jackson Hastings will definitely be wanting to prove a point again, like he did at Leichhardt Oval in round 2. But yeah, I just think Newcastle got too much to play for, and it'll turn out a bit like last week's game against Cronulla.
As Dane Laurie named on the extended bench there, as Rob mentioned, Will Smith defensively showed a little bit of spark in the halves last week, but defensively not great. Who would you have gone with in the halves? Would you give Dane another crack or Will Smith another crack?
I mean, Will Smith didn't do anything like overly spectacular or overly poorly, I thought, against the Sharks. So I see that it's reasonable to give him another shot. Dane Laurie, well, he only had one game, and it was a game where he didn't get to attack much, and our defense was repeatedly called into question. So, it's tricky because maybe Dane's still struggling, or maybe he's still a little bit unsure with the quadricep because they can be a little bit finicky. But yeah, if he's fit, I'd see that he's a decent chance of coming in for Will Smith before kickoff.
And what about Talented Silva? Won't play his. He's played? What did he play? 3 games since his debut? Or was it 2 with a bye in between?
3.
3, yeah. So Jakey Simpkin instead of Talon. Do you think that's just a bit of a safer choice?
I think so, yeah. Talon probably needs a little bit of a break. Byes excluded. He's gone from playing flag, well, under 19s and then flag to a couple of weeks of reserve grade to a few weeks of first grade. So, and he's coming up against guys a lot bigger than he would have in those younger grades. So, and longer game time as well. So I think it's pretty reasonable to give him a little bit of a break, bit of a breather, drop it back down a little bit, give him a bit more minutes, see how he goes towards the end of the year, maybe early next year, and a little bit more time in the development section. And yeah, I think that's probably the smart bet, just to play the experienced Simpkin, considering Simpkin may, like Rob said, Simpkin may end up starting.
Hamish on Facebook just said, does anyone think Appy's been rushed back a little bit? I've seen a few people mention this. Look, I don't think the club would risk him if they didn't think he was ready. So maybe it's just healed up. He's still been able to train and that sort of thing. So they did say they're going to play long term. There's not really that much to play for. So I guess we're just going to put the faith into the team. What are your thoughts on that, Rob?
I agree with both points of view. I don't think the club would rush him back in, but at the same time, I feel like it's a little bit risky. Look, my main thing as to why I think Appy's back this week is just to get a run under his belt for the Wooden Spoon clash next week. Okay, I really think they just want to give him a little bit of game time, and the focus will be the Dragons game next week, because if we lose that, then we're definitely. I mean, I know there's enough points to get out of the Wooden Spoon spot, but we'd most likely be entrenched in that 17th spot.
Righto, moving on to the Newcastle Knights squad. As away we go.
Kalen Ponga is the fullback. Dominic Young and Greg Marziu are the wingers. Dan Gagai is back in the centres, along with Bradman Best, who's been named to back up from Origin. Tyson Gamble and Jackson Hastings are the halves. Daniel Saifidi and Leo Thompson are the front rowers. Phoenix Crossland is hooker. Tyson Frizzell and Lachlan Fitzgibbon are the second rowers, and Adam Elliott is the lock. Kurt Mann, Jacob Saifidi, Jack Hetherington, and Matt Croker are the bench. Dylan Lucas, Inari Tuala, Brody Jones, Heimel Hunt, and Adam Clune are the reserves.
Yeah, it's a tip. When I looked at the team list, spoiler alert, I've tipped the Tigers stupidly this week, but kind of regretting it now. That's actually a pretty strong side, this Knights team, Rob. Like, there's plenty of talent around the park with them.
Well, hopefully, when they scored 66 against Canterbury and we scored 66 against the Cowboys and had the bye as well, like they did, and we lost after the bye. So hopefully it works for them the same way. Look, that, as Aaron said, Bradman Best is backing up. Should Bradman Best not play, you'd expect Tuala to come off that extended bench straight into the centre position, which would help, no doubt. But as you've said previously, Josh, players seem to find it easier to back up 48 hours later as opposed to 3 or 4 days later.
Yeah.
For some reason, I don't know what the logic is behind that, but apparently that's the case. And
delayed onset muscle soreness, probably.
Yeah, and Appy Koroisau handled it quite well, even though he didn't start the game against Canberra. He backed up 2 nights later and effectively played 55 minutes or thereabouts straight all the way, and looked like he could have kept playing a few more minutes. So look, we have got a really good record up at Newcastle, which is one positive, but I'm just worried about Kalen Ponga this week. He's the man. He's absolutely the man. So we've got to shut down Ponga. We'll see how he goes, but he's got so many weapons in his arsenal. He's got the short ball, he's got the step, he's got that face ball to the wingers. He can do it both sides of the ruck. So my big danger there is Kalen Ponga. And obviously the guys on their right edge, who'll be attacking our left edge, your Dominic Youngs and Dane Gaggais and all that sort of thing, they'll be hard to stop as well. So let's just hope Bradman Best doesn't back up and we might be able to find a chink on their left side.
They moved Ponga back out of the halves, back to fullback again, and he's found that form that he had as fullback. I don't know why they moved him to the halves to begin with. It was a pretty dumb decision. They probably win a lot more games this year if Kalen Ponga's fullback for the full season, even though he spent some time concussed.
Yeah, I think they tried to find room, Aaron, for Lachlan Miller, who they bought from Cronulla. And Lachlan Miller did play quite well earlier in the year, but he kind of gets lost a bit as to where he's meant to be positionally. I think, and obviously Kalen Ponga would get more of the ball at 5/8. But yeah, I mean, given the head knocks that Kalen Ponga's had, I think that's the reason he's gone back to fullback. So it just gives him a little bit more room. He doesn't have to get involved as much. He can pick his times when to get involved in the game. And more importantly, just risking those head clashes. I think that's the main reason. But he certainly found his form, as you said. He's been crazy good the last 2 or 3 games that he's played.
Tyson Frizzell, the word is that he's going to re-sign with the Knights. So obviously he was talking to Benji about possibly coming to the West Tigers, but looks like he's going to stay put, Rob.
Yeah, I've read that too. Look, again, it's all speculation. I don't know anything concrete about that. All I've heard is, or read is what we've seen in the articles. Tyson's got a good relationship with Benji. He was thinking of coming, but I guess 74-0 thrashings would kind of turn your mind away. And really, like, why do we want him? I mean, if we've got Bateman and Papali'i for 3 years, unless we're moving one of them on, there's just no room for another second rower. He doesn't even play lock. He's not even a proper lock forward, so it's not like you can move him into another position. So, I kind of never thought it was the right person to be sort of seeking to come to our club anyway, especially given his age and especially the fact that we keep talking about a youth policy and we keep buying all these old forwards. So, I don't know. I just think we're interested in every player that comes on the market, as I said earlier, Josh. So there's a lot of face saving going on at the West Tigers at the moment, and you can't blame them for wanting to do that.
Righto, lower grades. So New South Wales Cup. If you do head up to Newcastle, you can see the Cup team play before first grade. So they're playing at 5:30. So two games to watch up there. Interestingly enough, Talon da Silva hasn't been named in any side this week. So not sure, do they put him in Cup? Do they put him in Flag? What are they going to do with him? But the Magpies had a good win last week. The Knights are, I believe, at the bottom of the table in Cup. So hopefully they can get another win there. And before the big boys play. And then Jersey Flag, they're playing at Lincoln Oval on Sunday at 2 p.m. against the Raiders. So, so head out to Liquor and support the boys there. So it's a tough one. They've actually gone first grade and second grade together this week instead of flag and cup together. So, but there you go, Rob. Yeah, you get two games to watch. If you're a bit hard on a Friday.
The Newcastle fans get to appreciate it, and not us.
Righto, Robstradamous, what have you got? Spoiler alert: it's not a very fun Robstradamous.
No. Look, I mean, there's no time to do these things. Like I said, the teams come out Tuesday night. All these team lists for all these teams that are playing, they're all going to change. We don't know if Penrith, Crichton's going to back up, and Bradman Best is going to back up, and Moses is going to back up. So there's so many guys that you just don't know who's going to play in each team. But the one thing I was sure about was Newcastle are playing well enough to give us a 13+ beating. So I hate to be Benedict Arnold here, but Newcastle 13+. I've gone Ponga and Young to score a try, but there's other players you could put in there. You could put Marshew, you could put for some value, you could put Tyson Frizzell, especially if he's up against Will Smith. Plenty of try scoring talent there, but I think we've got a few tries in us this week too. So especially with Appy back, Appy really guides our attack quite well. So yeah, it was just a more desperate thing just to find which team is going to be affected the most. And I just figured Bradman Best is the only change from that Newcastle team potentially, and everyone else will line up as named. As Josh gets back into his seat.
Yeah, sorry, just had to blow the nose off screen there. Yeah, not a very fun one this week. Look, I'm going to go out and I've got a bit of a lead in the tipping comp. I'm going to throw it all on the line. I'm going to tip West Tigers this week. I reckon Appy back. I reckon the boys will be fired up, heading up the M1. I reckon they'll come out and upset the Knights. So, am I an idiot? Or yes?
Not at all. Not at all. You're a loyal West Tigers supporter.
And
who thinks with his heart, not his head.
Yeah, that's what it's risky, but I don't know. I think with Appy back in the middle, it takes a bit of pressure off the halves. Bit better defense up the middle. I reckon he makes a huge difference to this team. But you boys are going the Knights.
Yeah, I'm going the Knights. If I could put a better player at 5'8" and the wing, I would say we're a really, really good chance. But I just think we've got a couple of leaks there that can't be plugged.
Yeah, I'm the same. I might tip us next week, pending team changes or team lists against the Dragons, but I can't honestly see myself tipping the Tigers for the rest of the season because we just haven't seen enough of them to be able to trust them. Also, Josh, you've robbed me of about 10 points on the scores there.
Oh, I forgot to update your score. Sorry, Az. What are you on at the moment?
85.
85. So you're still 9 behind me, but you're ahead of Rob. Okay, Rob.
Not 19 behind you.
No, I did. That's from 2 weeks ago. Obviously, we didn't have the preview on video last week. Doggies v Broncos. We've all gone Broncos in this one. The Doggies are playing at home though.
Yeah, I can't go past the Broncos. I know they're there's going to be. I don't think Reece Walsh has been named to back up, so he's going to get rested. But I still think the Broncos have got enough there to beat Canterbury. The way Canterbury finished the game last week, even though they won, that's a big stickler for me. I like to see how teams finish a game. I think that, I know it doesn't mean much to the next week, but to me it does. So I just think they finished the game really poorly there. So I'm going Brisbane.
Yeah, it's a Belmore, but I think the Broncos are a bit too strong at the moment. Dogs, they had a good performance in them against the Rabbits last week, but yeah, I'm not sure they're going to be able to back it up against the team that's flying as high as the Broncos are at the moment.
Rob, you've gone Manly, as and I have gone the Cowboys. This one at Manly are at home, so I was tempted to go with Manly. This was the tough one.
Yeah, look, again, it's really pending on Origin, and the fact that the Cowboys have got a lot of Origin players backing up. I don't know if they're all going to play. I mean, obviously they've got Tawalangi and Valentine Holmes and the wing. What's his name? The Nanai. New South Wales have got Reece Robson. So there's probably others whose names escape me. And obviously Manly are very dependent on Daly Cherry Evans. So a hard one.
Jake Turbo's playing too.
Jake Turbo as well. Look, this could be the golden point game, but you got to tip someone. And I'm
Right.
not in a tipping comp, so I couldn't give a flying fuck if I'm right or wrong. So, but I just think Manly. Will just get there, but it'll be very close.
As
I'm leaning towards the Cowboys on this one, but yeah, depending on how many players get named to back up, I may end up changing my tip to Manly. It is one of those tricky ones just because it's around the Origin period, and the Cowboys have 7 players selected for Origin, even though one's 18th man for New South Wales, so he's likely to play. Yeah, it's just one of those tricky ones that I'm going to just wait until closer to kickoff before I look too much deeper into it.
this one, Roosters Storm. We've all gone Storm. I don't know, the Roosters. I'm waiting for the Roosters to fire up and kind of start finding themselves. Obviously, usually post Origin is when they do that, but I don't know. I was really tempted to tip Roosters this week. I don't know why, but I can't put any reason behind it other than I don't know. I'm just waiting for the Roosters to be the Roosters, but we've all gone Storm.
They've had a lot of the big name players come back, the Roosters, so I wouldn't be surprised if they start clicking soon. This is probably close to their full strength team this week, so I think they're a decent chance, and I was umming and ahhing tipping them, but I'm leaning with the Storm at the moment because they're a bit more reliable than the Roosters. But I wouldn't be surprised if over the next week or two, the Roosters start to click, finally start scoring some points, and start putting a lot of pressure on some teams and a bit more pressure on the top 8 race in the coming weeks.
We've all gone Warriors in a slum. I mean, betting's pretty much almost 50-50 here, but against the Sharkies, this will be a pretty good game Sunday Arvo across the ditch.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of good games this week that are 50-50s, and this is one I'm just leaning towards the Warriors as well. But I mean, Cronulla has certainly got a lot of points in them, so. But I just think if the Warriors are on, they'll win. That's how I actually feel Nico Hines' form is. I know they're winning, they're scoring a lot of points and they look pretty, but I'm seeing Nico Hines do a lot of things that are uncharacteristic and not so great. So I just don't trust Cronulla right now. So I'm going to go the Warriors.
We've all got Panthers up in. Where are they playing this one? Against the Dolphins. The Dolphins are at home, but they tend to...
maybe KO Stadium? Maybe the Redcliffe Stadium?
Obviously,
KO Stadium, Redcliffe.
Panthers, a lot of Origin backer-uppers. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see. They might just pull the pin and rest a lot of guys. Again, they end up still... Last Origin, they end up doing that and still won. So... ladder wise, they're up the top. They might pull all their Origin players out. I wouldn't be surprised on Sunday. So the Dolphins giving up 14.5 on the line might be a good bet there.
Yeah, perhaps. I'm going to stick with Penrith.
And lastly, anything to add on that one, Az?
I think we might be losing you a bit there, Josh, or at least I'm losing you a little bit there.
Can you hear me, boys?
Yeah, I got you. I hit the brakes. I didn't realise you were going on to the next.
Yeah, no, that was my. I didn't. Lastly, we're all going Eels against the Titans. Eels at home that should get all their Origin guys back. Yeah, it's a must win for the Eels, trying to stay inside the top 8. So.
Yeah, based on last week, it's very dependent on Moses and Gutho, isn't it? So if they play Para, if they don't play Titans, it's pretty easy.
Yeah, I agree.
Righto, and to finish our Patreons, I don't know that they've dropped anything. There's been a lot of discussion this week, but I don't think anyone's actually dropped us in a question. But patreon.com/WestsLife if you want to join the boys and girls on our Discord. What do we got? No, all quiet on the Western Front. The boys and girls not throwing any questions at us. And even Shane Collett had his rest. Didn't even send us his rant for tonight. But he obviously, he might not have known that we went on Wednesday night. So
the Discord
we'll
chat's been awesome, Josh. The Discord chat's been so good. A lot of good points being made. All friendly discussion, and yeah, it's a pleasure to be on a group chat with normal people that aren't dickheads.
A lot of funny comments being shared about as well. Like around the talk about Stefano being rested for Origin Game 3, and what's he being rested for Origin Game 4. They started treating the Origin series like the Ashes instead. So yeah, there's a lot of funny going on in there.
Yeah, Freddie's absolutely cooked. But we'll review this game. So a nice quick episode today. We'll review the Knights game. Back to Monday, 8:30 p.m. and then preview for Dragons. What night do we play the Dragons? So it's a Thursday. Is
Friday
that Thursday
night?
Thursday again, I think.
Thursday night for next week. So it's the night before. Not ideal, but we'll go back to Wednesday night next week. Monday, Wednesday nights. From here on in, Origin's done. Back to regular scheduling, regular team lists, and fingers crossed the boys can get off the bottom of the table. The run to the semi-finals is on, boys. Tim Sheens might think we're still in contention.
Can we rest him till the end of 2024?
Righto, guys. Anything to add before we go into the Origin, apart from go the Blues tonight? Please don't embarrass us.
I think the Blues are up for it tonight, and at a minimum, they'll be winning at halftime. I don't know whether they'll be winning at full time, but love the pack we've got, love the halves we've got. Just hope Teddy can have an average game at worst, so that we don't lose.
Has anything to add?
No, I think that's pretty much covered everything for today.
Well, thank you to everyone who joined us on a Wednesday. I think a few people enjoyed it, but apologies to the dozens and dozens of you that normally join us on a Wednesday night. I promise we'll be back full schedule, proper schedule next week. But yeah, thank you to those who did join us today on the live stream on YouTube. Please give us a follow and like, share, and all those good things as well. Righto, boys. Can we do it? Come on, boys. Friday night. Go the Tigers.
Go the Tigers.
Go the Tigers.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the WestsLife Podcast. Please follow us at WestsLife Pod on Instagram and Twitter, and facebook.com/WestsLife Pod. You can also support and take part in the show at patreon.com/WestsLife, and give us a subscribe on YouTube and turn notifications on. We'll see you again next time on another episode of the WestsLife Podcast.